This week, I want to give you a few tips for writing about sensitive topics. So I talk a lot about incorporating a social issue into your film. And in the past, I've spoken about how to write a screenplay with that. If you missed it, check it out. It's online. It's still there. But now I want to talk to you about some specifics within that. So I'm talking about fictional films here, films where you have complete control over what's being said and how it's being said. In a fictional script, to me, it's very important that all your characters are not all good and they're not all bad, because people are not all good or all bad. There are certainly people who are, in your mind as an individual, you might think are better people than others, but everybody has a little bit of something in them that's good or bad, depending on whose point of view it is being told from. So when you write about a sensitive topic, if you're black and white about it, you're alienating half your audience. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. Don't do that. Let's say you're writing a script about climate change, and there are people who don't believe in that. Now, some of them are just going to tune out your film. They're not interested. But there's a population in that group that doesn't believe in climate change that you might be able to win over and get to watch your movie if you treat them with respect. If you don't, you're slamming the door. And a lot of people do that, I've noticed, in the indie film world, dealing with issues on the left, right? They will take a topic and be so far to the left with it that nobody on the right wants to watch it. And they just say, well, that's not my audience. But then you're just preaching to the choir. And certainly that's helpful to show you're empathetic to someone's point of view, to cheer it on together. That's great that that audience is there feeling the love and all of that. If you want to change the world, though, you might want to consider opening the door to people on the other side to really open up a conversation. So if you're making a film, like I said, about climate change, maybe don't make fun of those people like they're dumb just because they don't believe in the science. Okay, you might feel that that's dumb, but not to them. And if you try to look at it from their point of view, you'll create a more interesting character. That's not to say you want people to agree with that character, or say it's okay that they don't believe in climate change, but you want to empathize with why they might be thinking that way. What brought them to that? Same thing with women's issues. I've noticed a lot of films about various women's issues are all men are terrible and all women are good. I've seen a number of those. And hey, I still like those films because I feel like they depict the issues well and they talk about them and there's a lot of honesty on one hand. But on the other hand, I'm like, wow, if I was a man, I'd be so uncomfortable watching this. And I'd feel like I'm not wanted in the room and then I should just go away. But if you want change in the world, it can't just be coming from one group. It needs to come from other people. So don't alienate those people. I see women do this all the time, and it makes me crazy. It makes me crazy. And that's not to say those films are bad. I've seen some of them multiple times, but I still sit there saying, they could have done so much better. They could have reached a bigger audience. My next tip about dealing with sensitive issues in your film is don't be defensive. Don't make big speeches. Don't drive the point home and defend while you're driving it home. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody talks like that. I mean, unless you're at a debate or having a big argument with someone. But most of the time, things come across more natural and authentic if people just are. And you see it through their actions rather than big, heavy speeches about why these people are evil and why these people are good. You may feel it. You may want to yell that speech, but in your characters, they will be more authentic if they're existing in their lives and you're seeing how the other people are affecting them or how the situation is affecting them or whatever you're dealing with, rather than hearing along, let me bang you on the head and let me do it some more. There are exceptions of when this is necessary. I would say that at the end of The Great Dictator, there's a speech that really is driving the point home. But at that time, with what was going on in the world, I think that Charles Chaplin felt that it needed to be said, and it didn't matter how much it was hitting someone over the head. And it's just one speech at the end of the film. It's very smartly done. So I'm not saying there aren't exceptions to this. There certainly are. I'm sure a number of you are coming up with them right now. But in general, you want to avoid that. You don't want to hit people over the head. That's just going to drive them crazy. So the next thing I want to talk to you about when dealing with a sensitive topic is humor. Now, humor is really great to break the tension and to have a character laugh at their own situation as a way of continuing on in some horrible situation they're dealing with. But you have to be careful how you use it, because if the person is constantly self-deprecating, well, what does that say about that person and therefore that group of people you may be talking about, right? Or people in a certain circumstance. That can be touchy, and you might piss off the people you're trying to help. And on the flip side, you can't just keep making fun of the people that you don't, quote, like, and you don't, quote, like their point of view, because then you're pissing all of them off as well, and it's not really a fair view. So you can do that, right? Some people, again, I've talked about this earlier, is that some people don't care, well, I'm making this for my group of people. I'm preaching to the choir. It's that kind of rah-rah film. But if you want to open the door to other people, be careful how much you're making fun of those other people. Just think about it. Like, is this the way someone good behaves? And the final thing I want to talk about when dealing with a sensitive topic, and probably the most important thing, is when you write a script about it, share it with people from the community you're writing about or who are into the issue you're writing about. Like if it's climate change, maybe show it to some scientists to see, did you get the facts right? If it's about anti-Semitism, even if you're also Jewish, show it to other Jewish people, right? And see their point of view, because you know what you're thinking, but an outsider who gets the issue may take it another way. I have a script that I've written, which has to do with a Jewish and Muslim girl becoming friends, and my producer is going to take it to Muslim filmmakers she knows. I've already shown it to a couple of people that I know in that community, but she knows a number, and she knows groups of people who advocate for that community. So it's important they look at it, because I may think I'm doing something totally innocuous, and they're like, well, this is a trope. And like, what? Like, I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet, but I'll report back and tell you how it goes. But that's going to happen. And obviously, I'm Jewish. I've shared it with other people I know who are Jewish. So I'm getting perspectives from different people. And I've shown it to people who are not in those communities, because the film is about a diverse group of communities, not just those two in a small town. So I'm trying to make sure that, yeah, it's my film. I'm going to make it my way. I want to say my thing, but I want to see how it's going to affect people. Maybe I'm going to be happy it pisses somebody off. Maybe I'm not. So keep it in mind. Don't be afraid to share your work out and get feedback. You know, even if you think, I don't think I wrote this scene well, I have a feeling I'm going to offend somebody, just say that. Hey, I'm concerned I'm going to offend somebody. Can you take a look at this and give me some feedback on how I can make it better? That's all. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. See you next time.